Anyone starting out in photography should be familiar with the rule of thirds. Here's your frame, here's a grid, compose your shot with stuff landing on the grid, and everything will automatically look awesome all the time, right? No. The thing about the rule of thirds, or any rule for a creative practice, is that they aren't rules at all. With any creative practice, rules should be thought of as enabling techniques rather than ultimate objectives. For example, to compose a shot, just point the camera at whatever you think is interesting and look through the viewfinder. Is something distracting or in the way? Then move your body, compose around it. Change the light, do something. Whatever drew you to shoot that particular scene needs to be made more obvious, and whatever distracts you from it needs to be eliminated. You did all that and it still doesn't work? That's a tough one. Well, better fall back on the rule of thirds. The rule of thirds is really just a way of getting beginners to stop putting everything straight in the center, but it also stops them from putting it right by the edge of the frame. Sometimes you may have an uneven composition, with one area that is pretty exciting and another area that's rather dull, and it can ruin the shot to have that much frame wasted by something so dull. Or you might have an interesting part of the image close to an edge, and it pulls the viewer's eye out of the frame, and you never want to do that. Following the rule of thirds is a quick and easy way to get a satisfying composition. Look at the image. Which part is better? Okay, that part gets 2/3 of the frame, and the rest gets 1/3. Done. Of course, if every photographer did this all the time for every photograph, photography would be a very boring medium. There are times when the so-called rule is not needed, and there's other times where it might even get in the way of what you want to do. Sometimes putting details close to the edge pulls your eyes out of the frame, but sometimes the sky might look really awesome, and it deserves 95% of the frame, not just 67% of it. And a tiny sliver of horizon, just the bare minimum to establish context, is enough. Sometimes the top and bottom are both visually interesting, and centering the horizon makes sense. Sometimes bending the rule rather than ignoring it outright might feel right. In this case, the horizon is at the quarter mark, yet the clouds, which are very similar to the land, are at the 1/3 mark. Rules are just a crutch to use when your creativity and your skills fall short of your vision. Enabling techniques exist to be helpful. There is nothing wrong with using them, and there's nothing wrong with breaking them.